Hey guys, if this is your first time to my channel, hello and welcome. My name is Emily and today I am bringing you another pay or stay away. So it looks like this week we have a decent amount of releases and a lot of them caught my attention. Spoiler alert, but let's go ahead and get right into the first one here. It looks like Nabla Cosmetics is going to be bringing out a new palette, and this palette is going to be called the Soul Blooming Palette. Upon seeing this, I knew from the start that it was meant to be, you know, when you just see a palette and you just see the outside packaging and you just know it's going to be good, or a lipstick or some sort of makeup item. And you don't have to know what it looks like on the inside because you know and you trust that that brand is going to do you good. That is how I feel with this palette. That packaging is everything to me. This is everything I could want in packaging, and I am not even a packaging person. But this is so beautiful. I want this like on a print to put on my wall. This is absolutely stunning. And I have seen one swatch. They have previewed one swatch of one of the shadows that are going to be in there. And that shadow alone is enough for me to want this palette. I literally can justify buying this palette for that shadow and this packaging and just this whole situation here, because I know that if one shadow is good, I'm sure that at least half of them are going to be up my alley, if not most of the palette. Now people are speculating that this palette is going to look something like the outer packaging. Some lilacs, some baby pinks, maybe even some blues. Pink shadows are more so my territory. I'm more foreign to the kind of lilac-y shades and the blue shades, but I just have to have this. I have to have it in my collection. I saw this and immediately knew that it was meant to be and that we were meant to be together. So I definitely am going to be purchasing this when it comes out. We don't have a date yet. I'm sure it'll be within the next month or so. But I am very, very excited to get my hands on this bad boy because that duochrome shadow that they leaked is one of the prettiest shadows I think I've ever seen. So I'm willing to buy it just for that, but I definitely think that the rest of the palette is going to be awesome, and I cannot wait to see what else they release and what sneak peeks they have, and they should just go ahead and drop the palette now because I have my coin set aside for that guy. So next up on the pay or stay away list are the brand new Black Moon Cosmetics Moonlighters. These are available now and they are going to be available for $22. It looks like there's 7 different shades and they're all inspired by bioluminescent species, which are mostly fish, and they're the type of fish that light up underneath the water. A lot of them are more towards the deeper areas of the ocean, more so where it's a lot darker, and they've had to adapt to the darkness, essentially making themselves light up like a little light bulb under the sea. I've come out with a decent range of shades here. It looks like you got lots of colors to choose from. Goes from pretty light to pretty deep, and there are some pretty unique colors. They have colors like lime green, jellyfish blue, pale banana, yellow, and then there's even one called root beer bronze. Those are just how they describe the shades. The actual shade names themselves are named after all of the bioluminescent species, but I think that that's a really cute descriptive way of describing your products versus saying like iridescent yellow, iridescent purple. They took that extra step and threw in a nice little jellyfish in front of the blue there. And I am a total sucker for when makeup companies throw in that little extra step when they throw in something kind of cute or something food related. I don't know what it is, but I'm a total sucker for that. So I think that it's a cute idea. I like these highlighters. Personally for me, I don't need any more highlighters right now. None of these are really calling out to me personally, but I could definitely see a lot of people really getting a lot of use out of these and really making cool looks. And I think these would be great for not only as a highlighter, but as an eyeshadow as well, inner corner highlight, whatever it may be. I think these are kind of multifunctional, if you will, and I think that the shades are pretty darn unique. So I think that it's a nice launch. I don't really need it in my collection, and it's not really my makeup style, but I definitely see other people getting a lot of use out of these. So I think it's a good launch. But I'm not going to be purchasing this because duochrome highlighters aren't really my thing. Now granted, I am wearing a pink to gold duochrome highlight today, but that's about as far as I will go when it comes to duochrome. I'm not super into these kind of green duochrome or blue duochrome type of looks, but I know a lot of people are, and I think this was definitely a good launch for Black Moon, especially after their last eyeshadow palette, which I know was pretty neutral, and a lot of their fans were pretty disappointed by that. They're known for having crazier colors and crazier lipstick shades and whatnot, and I think that this is definitely a good addition to their brand, and I think that it fits the brand really, really well. Next up on the pay or stay away list here is the new Urban Decay Lightbeam palette. This palette confuses me. I look at this color selection and I think, okay, we got some neutrals, we got some browns, we got a cream shade, and then we have that nice little pop of corally peach there, which is something that I'm personally drawn to. And then they throw in a kind of cool toned silver shade that's very reminiscent of the Vice 2's, I believe it was Shell Shocked. I just remember everyone freaking out on YouTube a couple years ago when the Vice 2 came out. Shell Shocked was a super popular color and a lot of people were buying the Vice 2 for that specific color. Now to me, the kind of silvery iridescent shade in this palette looks almost identical to Shell Shocked. So if they brought that back, that's pretty cool, I suppose, because I know that was definitely a fan favorite for a while. But as far as the rest of the palette goes, I don't really think this color scheme is that interesting, and I don't really know what type of looks I would do with it. To me, these colors don't really go together that well. This is my opinion, granted. I mean, anyone can make colors work and use color theory, and you can always bring in another palette, but personally, for me, in my opinion, I don't really think that these colors go together very well. And I'm not super interested in them. I don't need brown shades. Like I've mentioned a couple of times, I don't ever use brown, so brown does nothing for me. The cream shade is pretty. I do love a good cream shade, but I have a million cream shades in my collection, as far as a million corals in my collection, as I'm sure you guys already know. Coral shadows are my absolute favorite thing to buy. I have a bunch of those in my collection, and I don't really need something like this right now. And people in the comments on Trendmood's initial post about this palette were pretty darn confused as well. I saw someone say that they wouldn't even pay $10 for this, which is really harsh. I'm sure it's a good quality palette, but it just seems like a lot of people weren't really impressed with it or were just generally confused by it. I don't know about you guys, but to me this doesn't really look like an Urban Decay palette. To me this looks like something that maybe Pure would bring out, or a brand kind of like that that does more neutral toned eyeshadows with maybe a pop of color here and there. For me, this isn't really an Urban Decay type palette. There's so many neutrals, and it kind of looks like the Kristen Leanne palette, which is on sale right now for $13. It's very reminiscent of that, minus the silvery shadow. But for me personally, I'm going to be passing up on this guy. I do not need another coral eyeshadow or any more neutrals in my collection. So if you keep up with Melt Cosmetics, I'm sure you know that the Baby Girl stack was supposed to drop on March 27th at 10 a.m. I know that for a fact because I was ready to buy that. I was actually planning out how I was going to sneak upstairs during my work day that Friday to be able to purchase it at 10 a.m. when it launched. And the night before it launched, Melt gave us a wonderful little surprise that they were going to be putting a halt on dropping the Baby Girl stack and crushing all my hopes of dreams of having a beautiful corally themed stack from Melt. They recently announced that they are going to be releasing a whole entire collection when they decide to launch the Baby Girl stack, and it's all going to be themed around corally stuff and something that matches with the whole baby girl theme. That's why it's called Hopeless Romantics. It's kind of like a romantic kind of pinky themed collection, if you will. They just recently announced that they are going to be dropping the Cali Dream blush, which is a corally peachy blush shade from Melt. Good Lord, they are dropping everything that is right up my alley, and this is only the second item of the collection that they have released. They have the Baby Girl stack, and now they've added on this blush. I have to buy both of them. I was already planning on buying the Baby Girl stack. I absolutely adore it. I cannot wait to have it in my collection, and every single day I wake up with hope that they are going to announce a launch date finally so I can get prepared and set some money aside and figure out my work schedule on how I'm going to sneak away to be able to purchase it when it launches. And every day they just keep coming back with coming soon. They're literally teasing me and leading me on. Melt, what are you doing? Just give me the date already. You can have my money. I literally have it set aside for you. So just give me the date, you know? Just let me know what's going on here so I can plan accordingly and stop stringing me along, because I want everything in this collection. I am getting very impatient. And I'm pretty sure everyone else who wants it is also getting very impatient, based on the comments that I've seen on Trend Mood's posts. I believe it will be worth it, and I am really excited to have it. I just really want a release date because I am more than willing to give them my money for this blush and of course the baby girl stack, and I'm really excited to see what else they drop. I'm pretty sure they're going to be dropping a highlighter and maybe even a lipstick. So I guess stay tuned for that, and I cannot wait to see what they come out with because so far everything in the collection seems awesome and seems like something that I definitely need in my collection. But next up on the pay or stay away list is the Makeupgeek Power Pigments. These are going to be releasing on May 3rd. And she basically has answered everyone's prayers when it comes to eyeshadow. For a long time, I feel like Makeupgeek has really been missing the mark, and I know I'm not the only one who feels this way. A lot of people feel this way. And they've just been releasing lip products and lip toppers and cream lipsticks, liquid lipsticks, whatever you have it. And I remember back in the day when Makeupgeek first started as a company, they tried to release some lipsticks that completely bombed and they didn't do very well. And so they pulled them and just focused on their eyeshadows, and that's where they really thrived and did very well. Marlena does her eyeshadows amazingly. They are really, really wonderful, and they're a fan favorite for a reason. Well, about a year ago, she decided to bring back the lipsticks, and it doesn't seem like they did that great. Now, I'm not saying they're a bad formula because I haven't tried any of them. She has a bunch of different formulas, and she had a bunch of different lipstick launches in 2016 and 2017, so I can't really speak from personal experience because I personally have never tried them. I think the general consensus though was that they weren't that amazing and that we just wanted eyeshadows. We just wanted her to come out with more colors other than neutral shades, and she had a lot of bright colors in her collection that she seemed to be discontinuing, like Lemon Drop and Razzleberry and Poppy. She recently brought Razzleberry back, which is actually what I'm wearing today, and it's one of my favorite shadows, so the girl can do colorful shadows well. So we have all been patiently waiting for her to drop her spring collection, which she has been hinting at, and it is so perfect. She could not have come out with something more beautiful and more perfect for her line because she is missing all of these kind of primary bright shades in her collection, and she just gave us what we wanted. So you have to commend her for that. Marlena definitely listened to us when we said, girl, we don't want lipsticks, we want eyeshadows, and please give us color. The girl came with color. So I'm definitely getting the coral shade and the berry shade and maybe even a couple more. I might get that yellow shade as well, but I can't wait to purchase these and give them a go. I'm sure they're going to be great, and I'm excited to see what else Makeupgeek has to bring for us because Marlena definitely is on the right path to getting back up to where Makeupgeek used to be. So next up on the pay or stay away list here is the brand new Lunar Beauty palette that's coming out. It's going to be an eyeshadow palette. I'm sure you are completely aware, but just in case you don't, Manny MUA is a YouTuber here on this platform, and he is a very large YouTuber. I believe he has 4 million subscribers now, and I actually used to follow him. I stopped following him when he got into a lot of drama. I just couldn't keep up, to be honest. But nonetheless, I think the guy's great. He's wonderful at makeup, and he has been on YouTube for a while. Just some really pretty kind of soft feminine looks with his makeup. And I watch Rich Lux and I love Rich Lux, and he always says that Manny is copper eyelid, nude lip. And it's true, he always does a coppery eyelid with a nude lip, but it's a really, really beautiful look that he has basically perfected. So if you have something that's great, why fix it? Well, I think that he really shocked everyone with this photo that he leaked of some broken shadows that I can assume would be the shadows that are going to be in the palette. There's a lot of color here, and a nice range of color. It looks like he's got some yellow, got some purple, got some green even, and then he threw in a couple of his traditional shades like a nude color and then a coppery color, which is to be expected. I mean, if you look at Manny's makeup, it is very coppery and rose goldish and kind of more neutral, but a little bit glammed up, if you will. That's definitely his makeup style. But I definitely appreciate him throwing in some color for us people who have been asking for it. I'm excited to see what this palette actually looks like. I think that it looks really promising, and I was honestly really surprised. I didn't think that the palette was going to be bad by any means. I mean, Manny knows how to do makeup, let's face it. But I didn't think that it would be this exciting for my personal makeup style. and I really like what we're seeing so far. So we don't have a launch date yet, we don't really know much about it. I heard that the palette is called Life's a Drag, which is really cute because it's kind of like drag makeup, if you will. But I definitely have high hopes for Lunar Beauty, and I'm pretty excited to see what the palette actually looks like and what else is going to be launching from his collection. I am going to go ahead and wrap this Pay or Stay Away up here with something that I saw on Trend Mood last night. It looks like Jouer is going to be coming out with concealers, and this would make sense because they recently dropped that high coverage pigment foundation. It looks like the photo that Trend Mood posted last night. It's just a screenshot from either Christina, who is the owner of Jouer's, Insta story, or Snapchat, even though Snapchat is dead. So it's probably her Insta story. But it looks like it is just screenshots of her probably testing the new concealers out in front of her audience. And if you notice in one of the photos, the doe foot looks really big, just like the Tarte Shape Tape. So that automatically draws me in because I personally really enjoy the giant doe foot on the Tarte Shape Tape applicator. I keep wanting to say Shart Tape Shape or something. I know that like Desi Perkins does that too, so I think I'm subconsciously thinking of Desi whenever I say Tarte Shape Tape. Shart Tape Shape. Whatever. Moving on. I've never tried any of their complexion products before because I don't wear foundation and I'm not really sure what else they offer. Maybe they offer primers, I'm not really sure. But I've never really dabbled into the world of complexion products when it comes to Jouer. I do, however, know that when they launched the foundation recently, they launched 50 shades off the bat. And there is basically a shade for almost everyone in that collection. It is a very vast range of shades, and it is exactly what we needed in this makeup community, and it is exactly what people should be taking note on when they are making complexion products, because Jouer really hit it out of the park when it comes to a really good shade selection. I have watched a couple reviews on the foundation. Even though I don't wear foundation, sometimes I will watch reviews while I'm getting ready, or if I'm too lazy to change the video. Let's be honest here. It seems like this foundation was very full coverage without being too cakey, but still perfecting the skin while still being very comfortable. So it seems like they have a pretty good formula down. So I definitely have high hopes for these concealers. I'm sure that she will go ahead and just continue on with the kind of extension of the full coverage foundation with making a full coverage concealer to go with it. If that is the case and it does end up being a full coverage concealer, I am so on board for trying this. I'm sure the price will be right. I don't think Jouer products are that expensive. It'll probably be somewhere in the $20 range, and I definitely want to find a new concealer that is very full coverage, just like the Tarte Shape Tape. I have been kind of hesitant to repurchase the Tarte Shape Tape just because Tarte has been kind of a pain in the butt in the past, and more so just because when I first started buying the Tarte Shape Tape when it first launched, it was $23. Then when they found out that everyone wanted it, they raised it to $28. Then you factor in shipping, and it turns out to be like $35 just to get my concealer. So I would prefer to just buy from Jouer if it's cheaper and if it's a similar type of concealer. I've been looking for one that's similar to Tarte Shape Tape, and people have said the Makeup Revolution one is very similar, but I heard that one is not even close to Shape Tape. And Shape Tape is definitely a holy grail product for a lot of people, myself included. And I'm really excited because I never try out new concealers, and I don't know, it's just kind of exciting to try something new. And as far as the shade ranges go, I'm pretty sure that she will probably release 50 shades to go with the foundation, because if she is releasing a concealer that matches up with the foundation, if they're meant to be paired together, you would think that you would release the same amount of shades of concealer as you did the foundation. So I'm sure that she will. I think that Christina has her head on straight, and she seems like a very good businesswoman, and they seem like they have a good business running over there. So I definitely think that the shade range will be decent, and I'm really excited to see what happens with this concealer. That is going to be wrapping up this week's Pay or Stay Away. I know this one was a little bit longer than usual, but I had a few more things to talk about, and I'm going to be purchasing a decent amount of everything that I touched on today. So rest in peace to my bank account. I do hope that you consider subscribing. I have all sorts of makeup stuff happening here on this channel, and I am doing Pay or Stay Away every single Monday. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. I hope you are having an absolutely amazing day wherever you are, and thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you next time. Bye!